Literally everyone left for spring break, but I stayed behind to bring you the complete recap of this week's Buff action. We got basketball, football, and even lacrosse lined up for you in a hard-hitting edition of CU Sports Mag. This isn't a one-man show. This is a one-man Joe. CU Sports Mag starts now. Hi friends, and welcome to CU Sports Mag. I'm your host, Joe Paris. It was a busy week in Colorado sports. Most of the spring seasons are coming to an end, and postseason is here. CU men's basketball made the NCAA tournament for the third time in 4 years. Could Colorado break out of the first round for the first time since 2012 against UConn? Well, let's take a look. It was a pretty exciting circumstance. Colorado made the NCAA tournament. March Madness was right in our backyard. It was so exciting I could barely contain myself. It seemed like it was meant to be. Josh Scott in his final year leading Colorado through the big dance. What a time to be alive. Unfortunately, though, literally none of that happened. Colorado blew a large second lead to the 9th seed UConn Thursday afternoon and lost in the first round for the third straight tournament appearance. Josh Scott did his best with a 23-point, 11-rebound performance, but Colorado just couldn't match the veteran guns of UConn. Scott will be remembered as one of the all-time greats, but next year's team will have to pick up the pieces this offseason and figure it out in the fall. Colorado seniors Josh Scott, Xavier Talton, Eli Stalzer, and Brett Brady finished their college careers accomplishing more than what only a handful of others have accomplished here at CU. This year's senior class went to 3 NCAA tournaments in 4 years, something that has only been done by one other previous class. Talton also goes all-time as second on the all-time list of most games played with 135. He trails Austin Default's record by only 1 game. We will certainly miss these next 4 years without our guns, but the futures are bright for Colorado. The NCAA skiing championship came to an end this past weekend in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. The good news is that the national championship will be staying in Colorado, but it wasn't CU that captured the title. The University of Denver knocked off Colorado with a score of 567.5 for their 23rd National Skiing Championship. The Buffs finished second with a team score of 491.5. Colorado's Matt Strom did capture an individual victory, finishing first overall in the men's 20-kilometer with an impressive time of 49 minutes and 41 seconds. There may be a lot of disappointment after another first-round exit for men's basketball, but the legacy of CU and Colorado college sports is already legendary in another sport, skiing. As I just mentioned, CU finished second to the University of Denver in the NCAA championship in skiing, which added yet another national title, though, for the state of Colorado as a whole. Since on the basketball side of things, America is currently obsessed with legacies and postseason history, I thought it would be fun to look into the legacy of our state's greatest collegiate sport. 1954 marked the first NCAA national championship in skiing, and believe it or not, it was held in Reno, Nevada. The University of Denver took home the inaugural title to set the tone for the next 50-plus years of state domination. CU won their first title in 1959 at Winter Park right here in Colorado, and since then has won a total 20 times over the years. This is only the second time that Denver has also won it. Denver won it 23 times overall. So yes, it is disappointing that CU hasn't really made their mark in college basketball, but Buffs fans should be proud of the legacy that student athletes have left on the mountain. Well, as you know by now, the Buffs are no longer in the NCAA tournament after they lost to UConn earlier yesterday, but we still want to pay our respects to the parting CU players. This week we have a senior-themed trivia question for you, and we would like to see if you know, how many times have the Buffalo seniors played in the NCAA tournament in their careers? Don't go anywhere if you want to hear that answer. And coming up after the break, we have Forrest Cobble in studio to talk about basketball on this week's edition of Double Team. And later, the CU Rec Center has recently been renovated, and we have all you need to know about the new facility that is open to all CU students.
The odds of a child being in a fatal automobile accident are 1 in 23,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 166. The odds say it's time to listen. To learn the signs of autism, visit autismspeaks.org.
This is a man who almost learned to walk at a rehab center that almost got built by people who almost gave money. Almost gave. How good is almost giving? About as good as almost walking.
Big dreams and good grades aren't enough to get into college. There are actual steps you need to take. Finding someone who can help is the first and most important. For the next steps, go to knowhowtogo.org.
Great things. Find out how a healthy lifestyle can help your child succeed.
Welcome back to Sports Mag. When the Buffalo's track and field team went down to Birmingham, Alabama, they ran away with 4 of the top 10 positions. Get it? They ran. All right, senior Pierce Murphy and sophomores both placed 5th in their respective races. Sophomore Caitlin Benner was 8th in the women's race, while senior Connor Winter was 10th in the men's race. For Murphy, this was his second race in 2 days, running the 3,000-meter race with a time of 8 minutes and 2.4 seconds, just edging out Colorado State's Jefferson Abbey and an NC State's Luis Vargas, who both recorded a time of 8 minutes and 2.43 seconds. Outdoor track and field is all ready to start their season with the Jerry Quiller Classic that is going to be hosted at Potts Field. The meet was originally scheduled for Friday and Saturday, but because of the continued weather here in Boulder and the snowy forecast, the schedule has been shifted to accommodate all events on Saturday. Saturday's event will start at 11 a.m., and the updated schedule will be posted on CUBuffs.com this afternoon. Colorado will be competing against several Front Range schools like Air Force, Colorado State, University of Colorado Springs, Metro State, and of course, Wyoming. But there will also be other competitors who are unattached, or as a member of the club, admission is free. So come out and support your Buffs. The ending to the basketball season was absolutely the worst, but Forrest Cobble is going to be joining me now, and we're going to take a look to the next season. Forrest Cobble, my firstborn son, now join us. And Forrest, you say you have a lot of hope for the upcoming Buffs basketball season in the fall.
Hey, Dad. Yeah, I do have hope. I'm hopeful. Unlike you, I'm not cynical. I'm not old. But things are looking up this year.
So young, so naive. I remember when I was your age. Anyways, let's talk a little bit of hoops action. What do you think about the end of the season yesterday? Very disappointing.
Oh, it's definitely disappointing. The game against UConn followed suit for the CU this year. The whole season's really been defined by the Buffs losing big leads in big games, and Thursday held no exception. The Buffs went into the half up by 9, but UConn amped up the pressure with their perimeter D after the break and ran it up to a double-digit lead. Everyone's heard the classic euphemism, guard play wins in March, and it was clear that guard play is exactly what CU lacked. Why are strong guards important? They control the pace of the game, and the ball goes through their hands when the game is close. It's tough to ever pull off a comeback without solid backcourts. Teams have been beating CU all year in the second half by daring the guards to perform, and for the most part, they've been rewarded. UConn forced turnovers on the outside, and their guards brought them back into the game. In the words of Tad Boyle, CU wilted.
All right, so do we have a hope for the future, Forrest? And what is it going to look like?
Obviously, there's no quick fix to the problems, but if CU wants to do better in March, they need to focus on acquiring guards, and that starts with recruiting. With Josh Scott moving on, there's going to be even more pressure on the perimeter to perform next year. So I'm looking to the old players and the new players to step up. It's not like one of the nation's top players is coming to Colorado, but CU did recruit 2 3-star guards this year, Bryce Peters and DeLeon Brown. Peters is a more versatile player on offense, and Brown is a better defender, and both have shown flashes of athleticism and quickness and bring the potential playmaking ability and ball handling skills that CU lacked down the stretch in 2016. I'll tip my hat to CU for bringing on those 2 players, but there's still a lot of work to do. CU's also going to need to get better games out of the players who are already on the team. Thomas Akiazili developed his ball handling skills later in the year, and though Josh Fortune made some crucial errors against Connecticut, I also think that he could contribute more down the stretch. It's all about players who can handle the ball and who can find someone on the court, and CU needs to find someone to fill that role. That's how they'll move to the next level. So that's what I'm looking for next year. And it's an uphill battle, but I think Tad Boyle's shown that he can find the talent and that he can bring out the talent.
Yeah, that's some interesting stuff, Forrest. I didn't really think about it like that. Interesting stuff indeed. All right, did you have Colorado in your March Madness bracket advancing over UConn?
Yes. Shaking my head.
Oh my. So young, so innocent. Well, little whippersnapper, thanks for coming by, Sports Mag. We'll see you soon. Have a good one. All righty. Well, the Buffs tennis team won their first game of the Pac-12 season earlier this week against Arizona. Feels good. The Wildcats have an overall record of 9-7, but have not yet won in the Pac-12. The Wildcats came in ranked 59th in the country before the Buffs beat them, so the win was the Buffs' first win against a ranked opponent. And this is the last time they did that since the 29th of March 2013 against Oregon. The Ducks were ranked 59th as well at the time. The team's biggest win of the day came when Nuria Ormeno Ruiz beat the 27th ranked singles player in the country, Lauren Marker, in 3 sets. Following their win in Arizona, the tennis team is off to Washington State this weekend to face off against Washington and Washington State. This afternoon, the Buffs play the Huskies, and on Sunday afternoon, they will take on Washington State Cougars. The team is looking for its first Pac-12 win streak of the season. The team has yet to win back-to-back Pac-12 games this season, and the Buffs are 6-7 overall and 1-1 in the Pac-12. The Huskies have dropped 4 of their last 6 games. Good luck to the tennis Buffs. CU got a multi-million-dollar upgrade to their student rec center in the past year, but not everyone is sold. Emma Turetsky from our affiliate News Team Boulder has more on the new digs.
It's been 2 years since the opening of the renovated rec center, and students have spent the past few semesters checking out the new facilities. The addition of 83,000 square feet of indoor recreational space included a 3-level cardio weight area, improved basketball courts, a remodeled climbing wall, and a buffalo-shaped pool. The $63.5 million project was funded through bond sales, which are to be repaid through student fees collected over the course of a 25-year period. The rec center renovations were initiated by students, and in an April 2011 vote, 70% of students voted yes to increase student fees to fund the project. For the 2015-2016 school year, students taking 7 or more credit hours paid $890 a semester in student fees, $106 of which is a rec center expansion fee. But how satisfied are CU students with the new renovations? I'm here at the rec center to find out. Many students are incredibly satisfied with the renovations and feel the fee increase is worth the price. CU student Hallie Terleski is very satisfied with the expansion and uses the facility regularly to work out.
The gym was really small, the equipment was kind of old, but ever since there was a renovation, it's huge, all the equipment's really good, and I come all the time. I didn't used to go at all.
Other students, however, feel there could still be room for improvement.
That could be improved, the availability of the buff pool, because we put so much money into that, but yet it's rarely open.
And even still, many students choose to work out off campus at gyms and studios they feel provide benefits the rec center lacks. CU senior Annalise Ross is one of many who prefers to exercise elsewhere.
I either work out outside, I go for runs around here, or I go to a different gym. I go to Rally Sport in North Boulder. I don't really like working out here because there's not very much privacy.
However, the popularity of the rec center indicates students are overwhelmingly satisfied with the renovations.
I think some really good things about the rec center, the basketball courts, the turf indoor gym, and the racquetball courts as well. Those are all like super popular.
I'm Emma Turetsky, News Team Boulder.
University of Colorado women's golf team finished 10th at the Arizona Wildcat Invitational. The bus posted a score of 895, 35 over par. Junior Esther Lee was the Buffalo's top golfer on Tuesday, posting a 2-under score of 70 on the day and an overall score of 220 at the tournament. University of Arizona won the Invitational, finishing with a score of 857. CU will head to California next week to partake in the San Diego State March Mayhem, rounding out a 3-week tournament stretch for the Buffaloes. After the break, we have the latest on the monumental trip out west that the men's lacrosse team took, and also a look at the CU sorority community that gave back this past week on the kickball field. Stay tuned to find out how they made their mark. We'll be right back after this.
About to run into trouble again.
Hey, Bobo, where's your video game? In here. Well, look at this. Uh-oh. It's my dad's. You want to hold it? What'll I do?
If you get my new comic activity book, More Adventures with Scruff, you'll find out what you can do about bullies and guns. And you'll see lots of games.
Cool.
For your free copy of my new comic activity book, just write Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652, and help take a bite out of crime.
I want it. I want it. You know trouble can start when the clock hits 3.
When there's no place after school for kids to be.
Nothing to do but hanging on city streets.
When mom and dad are working to make ends meet. Now it's time to beat the street.
With after-school programs, city kids aren't left alone and vulnerable. They keep on learning between 3 and 6, but these programs need your support. Join with the Urban League to keep them going. Call now, because it's
time to beat the street.
She is one of America's toughest drug enforcement agents. Last year, she helped convict 90 drug dealers, seize several tons of crack and marijuana, and close down 10 major drug operations. She is a 68-year-old grandmother named Irma. She set up a community drug watch that is not only changing her neighborhood, but its future. There are many ways to help in your community. Call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
Lewis and Clark, great explorers. Hey, wait.
Hi, I'm Thomas Jefferson. Would you check out the West for me?
Oh, sure. And they take their keelboat up the Missouri.
Oh, Buffalo. Then they built Fort Mandan. They're at 1804. Made some friends along the way. I'm Sacagawea.
Through the Columbia Gorge.
There are tons of ways to help with your kids' learning. Find the really good ones on connectforkids.org.
Colorado football team is adjusting to a change in coaching to its staff this spring. Receiver coach Troy Walters left CU for work at Central Florida and replaced by former Buffs receiver Darren Chiaverini. The Buffs also have to adjust to being spruceless. This spring training is all about learning how to do things differently for the team. They're looking very strong so far, though they're looking at some new transfers as well, like sophomore Kabayan Emto. They're becoming more of a team to beat in the upcoming year. Athletes work hard to push themselves to limit themselves, not just on the field, but off the field as well. What does that process look like in the new CU Champion Center? Bree Thomas has the answer to that and more. Bree?
Sports performance is a top priority for the doctors and athletic trainers at the University of Colorado. For athletes, working out is the key to staying healthy and reducing the risk of injury. The doctor for CU's football team is Dr. Eric McCarty, who travels with the Buffaloes to road games to ensure they have proper care if an injury were to occur.
The stronger you are, faster you are, and the better shape that you're in will help prevent injuries. So that is one of the goals that I know that we have in the athletic department, but also in this center.
Since opening its doors in August, the new Champion Center remains busy and is gaining popularity. The facility provides world-class sports medicine for all ages and abilities.
Boulder is a top destination for sports performance. And the football team this year is looking to build muscle mass and increase flexibility with their new coach.
The Buffaloes have started their off-season workouts with their new strength and conditioning coach, Drew Wilson.
It's been different since what they're used to in the past. We do a lot more Olympic lifting than they've done in the past. A lot more squatting, a lot more pressing. It's kind of just a basic difference of philosophy between myself and the previous strength coach.
Coach Wilson pushes his players physically, but also mentally to drive their bodies to their limits. CU tailback Kyle Evans believes the balance between the two is an important aspect of working out during the off-season.
Just that combination of both, like pushing both sides, brings a lot more out of us in terms of effort.
The football team expects to have a strong preseason and preparations for the spring game this coming March. Bree Thomas, News Team Boulder.
Colorado women's lacrosse improved to 5-1 on the year with a win over Central Connecticut by a score of 15-3. Sophomore attack Darby Kiernan led the way for Colorado with a 4-goal display, but it was the Buffs defense that left their mark all over the Blue Devils. Kiernan applauded the defense, saying in a post-game interview, quote, "They did an awesome job. They got so many stops and caused turnovers. Finishing out and getting those ground balls is huge on offense too, so it was awesome." The men's lacrosse team headed west to California this past weekend to take on number 23 San Diego State University and the number 1 team in the country, the Chapman Panthers. Buffs took care of business knocking off the Aztecs 17-5 Friday night and set their sights to Chaptown in the MCLA's Game of the Week. The matchup did not disappoint with 60 minutes of tied regulation play. It went to sudden death overtime. The teams did exchange possessions before Chaptown finally broke through late in the first to seal the OT win. Colorado takes on UCSB and Arizona next week in another MCLA matchup of the week. University of Colorado is home to a proud sorority society that works around the year to give back to the community. This past week, the ladies of CU went to the kickball field to make a difference. Lizzie Vogel from our affiliate News Team Boulder has more on the story.
This past Sunday, the University of Colorado Boulder's Greek community came out to support one sorority's fight to ensure that one of their own sisters' biological sister's memory lives on. CU's Kappa Kappa Gamma held their annual spring philanthropy and inter-Greek kickball tournament at the Kittredge Fields to raise money for the Samantha Remington Angel Heart Foundation, which looks to aid those struggling with paying medical bills and other medical expenses.
And this year we had one of our sisters, Cassie Remington, stand up and talk about her sister's foundation. And we ended up voting as a chapter, and almost everyone chose her sister's foundation. And then less than 2 weeks after we chose it, her sister actually ended up passing away.
Samantha Fernandez is Kappa's philanthropy chair and worked endless hours on setting up the event, from creating the brackets, supplying the food, and even refereeing some of the matches herself. However, it takes more than one woman to make a difference. It'll take maybe a whole Greek community, and maybe even a few turf burns to create an impact. The entire Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority came out dressed in their customized t-shirts and signs in hand supporting all of the sororities and fraternities participating, and of course, their sister Sammy, who passed away on February 27th.
She was an unbelievably happy person, and so we wanted this just to be the most fun event that we could possibly have.
In light of the tragedy, participants enjoyed the day and playing a favorite childhood game, while also knowing they can contribute to something bigger than themselves, and furthermore supporting the Greek community.
I'm in DG, so it's really important to come out and support other sororities and their philanthropies for their cause.
While some were deemed as champions, everyone enjoyed a beautiful day celebrating and remembering the life of quite the competitor herself. Money is flowing in from CU's Greek community as well as from families and friends around the country. And even though she is gone, her graciousness and spirit will live on. With News Team Boulder, I'm Lizzie Vogel.
New volleyball, Jesse Mahoney added 2 players to the recruiting class. That's new volleyball coach, that is. Lily Klemmer and Rachel Whipple joined the incoming freshmen Lauren Dorrell and Justine Spann, as well as Purdue transfer Alexa Smith. Klemmer has a 3-year starter record behind her, and she is a 2-time All-State selection in the state of Hawaii. Whipple was a 3-time captain of the Smoky Hill team here in Colorado. She is a defensive specialist and should be able to keep the team going. And you don't want to go anywhere, friends, because we've got more coming right up like this.
Don't go anywhere, guys. I'm Alex Doyle, and Rapid Fire is coming up after this break.
The
smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Good nutrition can lead to great things. Find out how a healthy lifestyle can help your child succeed.
This house was almost saved from a fire that was almost put out by neighbors who almost volunteered. As generous a nation as we are, sometimes instead of giving, we almost give. But almost giving is the same as not giving at all.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a
One
dad
more time.
today.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
Aren't you excited to hear who we've picked as our athletes of the week? Well, it doesn't matter because here it comes anyway. All right, this time the honors are going to go to Josh Scott and Annabelle Andropoulos. The Buffs women's tennis team pulled off the big upset over Arizona this week, and freshman Annabelle Andropoulos pulled off a thrilling comeback in 3 sets. Of course, Josh Scott was a no-brainer. The senior averaged 16 points, 9 rebounds per game this year, and is on track to have one of the best seasons in the Pac-12. Putting the cherry on top of a historic career, it was absolutely fun watching him. Josh will be missed. He will be missed. Alex Doyle is here to fire it up and give you a preview for the next week of Colorado sports schedules. Doyle, take it away.
Hey Buff fans, welcome to this week's edition of Rapid Fire. I'm Alex Doyle. Hopefully this segment can keep you all warm from the snow that's outside. Let's get started. Basketball season may be over, but there are still plenty of CU sports to watch for the rest of the season. The tennis team has been in Washington all day today, and they'll stay there through the weekend, competing Sunday at noon in Pullman against Washington State. If you're not in Washington, but you're in California over break, you can check out the women's golf team at Rancho Santa Fe at the San Diego State University March Mayhem all day on Monday. But if you're in Boulder on Monday afternoon, you can watch the women's lacrosse team take on Marist College at 3 p.m. And then all day Tuesday, the track team will be in Austin, Texas for the Texas Relays. If you're in the Lone Star State, be sure to cheer them on. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time I have for this week. Have a great break, everyone. I'm Alex Doyle. Back to you, Joe.
Let's be honest, you probably forgot our trivia question, so I'm going to refresh your memory. Earlier in the show, we posed a question to you, and that was, how many times have the seniors on the men's basketball team played in the NCAA tournament during their 4-year careers? The answer is 3. In the previous 4 seasons, they have made it 3 times. That's pretty awesome. Go Buffs. This week, we have a very sentimental tweet from senior basketball player Josh Scott. After making it into March Madness this year, the Buffs, again, lost 74-67 against UConn. Scott finalized his career, tweeting out, "Gave my heart and soul to the black and gold. Feel blessed to have been in Boulder the past 4 years. Will be forever a Buff. Proud to be a Buff." Well, I'm graduating this year too, Scott, so I hear you. I'll also forever be proud to be a Buff. It's been a great season for the men's basketball team. We're excited to see you back there next year. If you want the truth, my March Madness bracket was ruined, just like most people. But hey, that's the way it happens when I put my faith in Middle Tennessee, the 15th team that upset the 2nd seed Michigan State, who I actually had winning it all. So Middle Tennessee, I believe that you can be the first 15 seed ever to make it to the championship and win. Why not? All right, well, that's all we got here tonight. Alongside nobody, I'm Joe Paris. Thanks for joining us. This is CU Sports Mag.